Yes, welcome back and stare into my very KB Ultra Mystic Ball. Are you in the mood yet? Are you in the mood for woo? Well, if you aren't already, you will be by the time I'm finished with you. And that'll be just in time for today's very special guest on KBS, which is Ben Emlyn Jones. So sit back, relax, and get ready for another Loch Ness Monster Theory. Not another one. Yep. There we go. No messing about today. No bing bang bong, bush, bash. Where am I going with that? Who knows? But we're back. We're here. And this is the start of what could be a KBS marathon, if you're up for it. Are you up for it? I'm really up for it today. Energy levels are, whoa, way back up here. We're out of Mercury retrograde. And all of a sudden, I feel good again. Go figure, right? So I'm going to come into the chat room, see who's kicking about there. And of course, this is nothing serious. It's nothing world-changing. I've got no great revelations to bring you today that's going to change anyone's world whatsoever. So if you've got something more serious to be doing, or you're looking for something else, that's cool with me. I do not mind. The door is that away. But if you're wanting to stay for some woo and to get in the mood, chillax, relax, and kick back to some Ben Emlyn Jones on the main Kev Baker show. And there is an After Dark coming today. Yes, there is. You know how I know that? Because on Mondays, when Ben Emlyn Jones comes on, this means it's the start of one of my really, really, really good weeks on KBS. Because Ben is brilliant unto himself. But what it also signifies is the start of a great week. Because following Ben, we've got Nano Girl. And following Nano Girl, we've got Don Wiskin and Jimmy Jeans. And following Don Wiskin and Jimmy Jeans, we have got Scotty. And then on Friday, the Three Musketeers hook up again. And we'll be full stream ahead this week, ladies and gentlemen. So with all of this woo today, especially with Ben in mind, by the time I come off the Ben Emlyn Jones show, I am fully in the zone. I'm there. I'm ready for more woo. So I'll bring that to you on After Dark today, probably around 2 a.m. in the UK. I know it's late, right? But that's only 9 p.m. for my internal clock over on the East Coast. And it's 6 p.m. on the West Coast. So, yes, more to come here today. But into the chat room. Who's all in here? Who's all in? It's the usual suspects, I'm telling you. But I like it that way. Where's the chat room on here? Why does it not come up? There it is. Now we're jamming. So let's see who's in. We've got Donnie was first. We have the Wookiee. ZX is there. Thor, good to see you, brother. And if anyone's wondering why Thor's name is in green, that's because he's a member of the channel. And if you want to become a member, I always forget to say, but there's a big shiny join button down below. You don't have to, but it does get you into our Sunday stream and, yeah, into the member zone, the VIP lounge, as I like to call it. So, Thor, you've been a great addition. Now, we've got other members as well that are in blue. They're moderators. It's not just Thor that's a member. There's more than that. So, we've got John Nelson. We've got Skipper Key Philo. Ra. That should be Ra Searcher. But Re Searcher. I like that. Ronald Penton. ZX again. Thor. Cinemonk. CJ. I've not seen your while kicking about for a name. No, I've not seen your name kicking about for a while. How you doing, brother? Good to see you in there. Hope you're doing well. So like I say, we're going to be kicking off with something really light, bit of fun, and something pretty local to where I am. Well, not where I am today physically, but where I grew up. We're going back to Loch Ness. Now, I'm sure we all got a good laugh last year when I got triggered, right? I got triggered by the Australian scientist that had come up with a brand new theory as to what Nessie might be. And I always look forward to hearing new theories on what it was that I grew up living beside all those years in Loch Ness, you know? Not me in Loch Ness. That came out slightly wrong. So when I do hear of new theories, usually I'm there, I'm gorging it, I'm taking it all in. But last year, I got triggered at the headline. The Australian scientist, and his name escapes me, and even if it didn't, I wouldn't give him the credit for coming up with this crap theory, but he tried to make out that the Loch Ness Monster was nothing more than an eel, because he had found eel DNA in Loch Ness. Now, as I went on to explain in my highly triggered state, that's like finding fish DNA in a loch, in a body of water, and saying, well, it can't be the Loch Ness Monster, it's a fish. The Loch Ness Monster's a fish because we found fish DNA. Point being, you're going to find eel DNA in the loch because eels live there. You're going to find fish DNA in there. Fish live there. But at no time have I ever heard any of the locals or anyone else ever try to explain away Nessie as just being an eel. Well, we're back with another theory today. No, two. Two new theories. Yes, indeed. And I'm going to not get triggered this time because I didn't get triggered when I read it earlier on. I think this is a far better thought out idea as to what might be lurking beneath the murky surface of Loch Ness. But before we go anywhere, before we even do that, what do you think is in Loch Ness? Because you guys and girls out there probably will come up with a better idea than the eels that we had last year. So what do you think's down there, folks? Come on. Jason, I will always milk a monster story. And I've got geographical cover, my friend. Geographical cover. At least I can say, well, I grew up there. You know what I'm saying, Jace? Come on, man. Come on. Jason, I need to get you live streaming. Do you know why I need to get you live streaming? Because look at all the bloopers you done when you were pre-recording, right? It puts you on the spot when you're live, brother. It'll air out all of those little bloopers, and we might take a look at that before we go away today. They found an eel in me camp oven. Oh, now listen, I've never tried said eels, but I know people who have. Caught a few in my time. They put up a good fight when you're fishing. I know that. A prehistoric holdover. See, that's what I'm talking about. Thor dropping in some good ideas, good hypothesis there. I like it. I like it. Please give a thumb up for our host and a big gold star, says Jason. Thank you, man. It's appreciated, brother. It's appreciated. It's the same in the Hawkesbury River. Now, Donnie, tell me, are you saying the same as in you think it's a prehistoric kind of holdover like Thor? Are you saying it's an eel like our previous Australian scientist that I refused to name? Or are you comparing it more to the bunyip that I was talking about the other night? Because I'm on the bunyip train. That's your Nessie, dude. Jason, I used to have terrible outtakes when I made offline ones as well. That's what I mean. There's something about being live. Look when you Look when you came on to Freaky Friday and all of those shows, you never hardly put a word wrong. I swear you came across brilliant, great talker. It does something to you psychologically when you're live. When you're live, I think it does something to you where you just kind of focus even more, dude. When you're pre-recording, I think you've got that many things in your head. You're trying to remember where you're about to go, and live. Raw or not at all, Jason. Raw or not at all. That's it. So, the bunyip, that's where I am. Well, what if I was to tell you? What if I was to tell you the latest theory is... I gotta build it up. I gotta leave some suspense here, right? Is it a fish? Is it a monster? No. No. What if I was to tell you that Nessie may be some form of serpentine whale? There you go. There you go. Now, like I say, I didn't automatically get triggered at this headline whatsoever. And this comes from the Rossshire Journal. And that's up from where old Pearly stays, my ma, up in Dingwall. So they're covering this story. It's written by somebody called Val Sweeney. Big shout out to them. US investigator of mysterious creatures believes that the Loch Ness Monster descended from an ancient group of serpentine whales. And an avid attentioner turns spotlight on the great island mystery. So we've got that kind of prehistoric thing going on with it being some kind of descendant from an ancient group of serpentine whales. Like I say, when I first heard this today, or when I first seen it, I thought, okay, I'm liking it. And it's not bad. It's a good idea. I like it. So let's take a look at what we're talking about here. And I think some of you will probably recognise this guy. His name's Ken Gerhardt. So it says, an American investigator of mysterious animals and legendary creatures has focused on the Loch Ness Monster in his new book and is now convinced that the creature is a descendant from an ancient group of extinct serpentine whales. Reptilian whales, no less, yes. Globe-trotting cryptozoologist Ken Gerhardt has written the essential guide to the Loch Ness Monster and other aquatic cryptids, drawing on interviews with leading Nessie experts and reported encounters. Now, if you out there at this point are thinking, wow, that would be a great guest for Kev to go and get, well, I'm way ahead of you. Way ahead of you. Way ahead of you. The contact details are in my person. They're on me. We're good to go. And I will be asking Ken to come on the show to discuss his new book. I think we've got the perfect kind of carrot to dangle for him. Me being your unofficial monster man, right? Right? We'll go for it that. We'll try. We'll try. Big plans for this show, folks. And it's all because you people out there, you keep me going. You are here time after time after time after time. And you don't know how good that feels. You really don't. So thank you. Also features a foreword by Steve Feltham, who has set a world record for the longest continuous vigil for looking for Nessie. He's been doing it for 30 years, folks. 30 years. So Mr. Gerhardt, who has appeared in numerous TV broadcasts, including History Channel programmes. We can just add him to the long, ever-growing list of History Channel guests that we get onto the Kev Baker show. I really need to stop kind of hanging around those shows, don't I? So he's been, it says he's travelled the world searching for evidence of unknown animals, including Bigfoot and lake monsters. Now, loch monsters where I come from, but I get it. Around the world, predominantly, bodies of water are called lakes. I'll get over it, don't worry. So he says, my journey began at Loch Ness in 1982. I was 6 years old when this dude was there hunting for Nessie. When I was at the age of 15. And I spent a week patrolling the loch with an 8mm film camera and interviewing many locals regarding their thoughts on the monster. Now, I came away convinced that there was something unknown living in the loch. And you know, folks, that's where I am. If I had to definitively tell you something, right? All I could nail it down to is there's something strange down there. And I would even have to add a bit of a kind of caveat to that, because I'd have to say there's something strange that lives down there sometimes, because it doesn't appear to be there all the time. And we've never found any remains, any carcass, any evidence of this ancestral line, which may date back to an ancient species of reptilian serpentine whales. Who knew? So, back to this. His latest book is the second in a series, the first being The Essential Guide to Bigfoot. There's a good question. There's something we need to talk about. I mean, I've wrote 2 chapters for Bill Bean now, in Bill's books. And I get people saying all the time, you need to write a book. What do you people in the chat room think? What do you people in the chat room think? If I was to write a book, would you think, well, I'd like to see Kev writing factually about something historic, about some of the stuff that's going on, or would you prefer to get into the inner workings of the imagination of Dave Baker and go pure sci-fi with it, with things like CERN and time machines and a whole host of aliens and probably good stuff like that? Something like the Da Vinci Code meets Kev Baker. There you go. There you go. So what do you think? What do you think? I'm going to wait to see what the chat say here, and then we'll get back to our story. Fiction or non-fiction? That's what we're after. Or we could go for, as I call it, faction. We take facts, i.e. scientific facts, CERN, things we know historically, and then we combine it into a fictional narrative. Oh, Thor, look at Thor. Now, Thor's ahead of me because obviously you won't hear me talking about this for about 30 seconds after because of the delay. So, yeah, all right, okay, it's over. It's resounding. 3-1 so far, 4-1. Fiction would be, I would enjoy doing that. I actually think I would really, really enjoy that. The quantum mechanics shouldn't dilute himself to pure fiction or non-fiction. You exist in many realities. City Monk, that in itself should be the foreword to the book. Facts that lead to the woo. Yeah. I like it. Facts are too depressing. CJ, bang on with you. Mythology and imagination first half, with actual investigation results second half. Dude, I'm Kev Baker. I'm not Graham Hancock. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be like just above cartoon level at best here. Anthony Patch is a co-writer. Have you, Lewis, have you ever read 2048 Diamonds in the Rough? Have you read that? What a book. Oh man, what a book. I fell in love with the mind of Anthony Patch about 3 paragraphs and 3 chapters into that. 3 paragraphs would have been a bit creepy, but definitely 3 chapters in, and I was there, all there. Reality is stranger than fiction. Why make stuff up? Not so much make it up, just use some kind of fictional story to interweave the facts. Think how exciting that would be, Bruce. There'd be people who could read it and think it's purely fiction, and then somebody like you or the audience would read it, and you would be able to pick out, oh, that's real. That, like, he just mentioned harp, something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? It'd be lost on some people, but others would get it. That'd be pretty cool. Anywho, back to our Loch Ness theory. It was something I've been meaning to ask you. That's why I came to the chat with that, just when it said that there. That's why we interrupted this absolutely compelling story about a serpentine reptilian whale in Loch Ness. So it says, I've attempted to compile the most accurate, objective information with regard to the Loch Ness mystery, and moreover to connect it to worldwide traditions of aquatic cryptids, Mr. Gerhardt said. So based on thousands of eyewitness descriptions, I'm convinced that Nessie is just one of many such such unknown creatures around the globe. Norwegian sea serpents. Big shout out to Sid, Champ, and Ogopogo here in North America, and lake monsters in Scandinavia, Russia, Japan, and Argentina, among others, and that these animals represent the very same species, most likely descended from an ancient group of serpentine whales. There you go. And that probably people saying, but Kev, how could a whale have got inland into that landlocked Loch Ness? You know, we had the Ice Age and things like that, and the world looked a lot different, and who honestly knows? Who honestly knows what's gone on here in the past? I'm not saying that, yes, I definitely think this guy's nailed it, but I like his thinking. For the purpose of this particular work, I interviewed many of the leading Nessie experts as well as investigators of other lake monsters around the world. And I'd actually planned to travel to Loch Ness this year, but, well, nobody's travelling anywhere, right? Mr. Gerhardt, who is a field investigator for the Centre for Fortean Zoology, lectures at conferences and events across the US, and has travelled to 26 different countries on 6 continents. He needs to come on the Kev Baker show, right? I mean, I know he's a well-travelled man, but he's hardly made it until he's been here, right? Right? Describing himself as an avid adventurer, he has camped along the Amazon, explored the Galapagos, and hiked the Australian outback. But he never mentioned the bunyip. I'm disappointed. And has visited many ancient and mysterious locales from Machu Picchu to Stonehenge. And now they're saying that Stonehenge might actually be some kind of recreation of a far bigger site that was in Wales at one point, or somewhere just in between there in Wales. We'll need to cover it on the show one day. So it says here, Steve Feltham is a full-time Nessie spotter, and he's based in a converted mobile library at Dores Beach, having moved to the Highlands in 1991. Now this is the very opposite end of the loch from where I was brought up. But he's become kind of famous himself. I've seen him on TV shows. I've even seen him in a movie. I'm pretty sure he's in the Loch Ness movie. So originally from the south of England, his fascination with the subject was triggered by a family holiday to Loch Ness aged 7. He said Mr. Gerhard's newly published book was a great reference book. Now he also stressed the importance of keeping an open mind when exploring the possibility that not all large animals swimming freely in lakes and seas had been found and identified. He said, for every single eyewitness testimony that makes it into the public domain, there are 20 or more sightings that will never be talked about beyond close family and friends. And I can attest to that. I can tell you that there's stories from people in the area that I've never told you. And it's because at a time, you've got to remember, I was brought up with these people in Fort Augustus. And I tell you my mum's story because she was happy for me to tell her story. But a lot of people aren't happy to share their stories. They'll tell them to friends, family, like it says there, but it doesn't go outside of that. And in a place like that, rumours spread so quickly, that's why people don't want anyone knowing, because you'll be the one that they talk about down the pub until the next one gets caught out saying they've seen. You see how it goes? So this guy's been up there 30 years. He knows how it works. He won't tell you about some of the stories he knows. He wouldn't have lasted 30 years up there. And that's not to say he'd have been chased out, but it would just been, he wouldn't have lasted, honestly. Honestly wouldn't have. So Mr. Feltham continued. Among the accounts, you will occasionally read about conmen and charlatans who have been attracted by the challenge of fooling the public and getting away with it. Half the fun of this subject is found in identifying those false alarms and removing them from the jigsaw puzzle of evidence. Ultimately, even after all the opportunists, the hoaxers, and the false alarms have been removed, you'll find that you are left with a substantial number of witnesses who say the same thing. I saw a large animal that I can't identify. And that's the exciting part. That's what keeps us searching for answers. So I'm going to get a quick drink, folks, and I'll be back with you, and we'll get into another theory about the monster, and we'll take a look at some other woo before we head on over and get Ben Emlyn Jones. And I tell you, we're at the start of an epic day of KBS content. Yes, indeed. The main show to come, and After Dark. Can you handle the woo? Can you handle the woo? I heard you can, but I don't know. I don't know. Big shout out to Rorschach, Luna, Shawnee, Bruce, Jose Ramon Frances. I know that's a French accent, I know, but hey, it's the way it came out. Well, you know, Lewis in there. Big shout out to everyone, folks. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. We're back, we're back, we're back. A big shout out to my sister-in-law, Julie. Yes, Julie, please, please, please come down and get me tomorrow morning because we need to go and get a package. Yes, we do. Oh, folks, the stories. Well, she wanted me to pimp out her YouTube channel, but I don't know, Anne. I don't know if I should or not. So I'm going to give her a shout out, you know. But you have to come down tomorrow, Julie. We need to get a coffee. I would tell the audience about some of the parties we've been in that and some of the things you've been up to, but I can't. It's like it'd be X-rated for on here. You know what I'm saying? So listen, folks, listen. Big shout out to the sister-in-law, and yes, get down and see me tomorrow, Julie, please. So, back to it, right? Back to the serious stuff. The Loch Ness Monster. Yes, let's get back to the Loch Ness Monster. Julie, I will pimp out your channel. Don't worry, I'll pimp it out at some point. But yes, let's get back to it here. Where are we? Now I need to get my next story up, you see. That put me all wrong. There we go, there we go. So we've had the eel theory last year. Utter nonsense, tripe, BS, crap, baloney. I'm liking the ancient kind of remnants of an old, lost, serpentine, reptilian race of whales, and sitting laughing in the background. I don't know if she's laughing at me or laughing at her phone. I get used to it, you know. But now, what if I was to tell you there's another theory out there? And I've not even checked this one out. I only came across it today when I was looking at the whale theory. I seen the headline and I thought, well, we'll keep that one. We'll get the raw reaction. Hopefully it won't trigger me along the way. I know all of you out there want me to get triggered because it's funny. But it's not funny. It's not good. Not healthy for a guy with COPD to be getting triggered all the time, all right? Here we go, folks. There's your latest one. Is it an ancient sea turtle? We've had something like this before. And no, it's not an ancient sea turtle either. Hey, there's Shiz watching. Oh, look on the big telly. Oh, dang, Julie, you don't want my radio face on the big telly. You want it on like a handheld device. It makes it less scary. Less scary. And don't forget, everyone out there, Julie included, if you're wanting some really scary type stories, I'll be coming live again. Whoa!
Robert.
What have I missed? I must have missed something in the chat, Sid. I'll be coming over to the chat in a minute. Robert. Robert who? Oh, see? I'm lost. So yeah, I'll be on later on tonight telling some spooky stories from 2 a.m. I'll probably be doing it on this channel because I like streaming on this channel. We keep the bigger channel for uploads and for Freaky Friday. But I like to keep us doing the real hanging out, chilling out over here. So, ancient sea turtle. Now that I look at this again, something's ringing a bell. I'm starting to get a little bit triggered because never in my life, never once has there ever been any remains of any turtles found anywhere near Loch Ness, alright? It just ain't, it doesn't jive. It doesn't go well with it at all, alright? So it says here, one researcher has come up with a new theory to explain sightings of the legendary Scottish Loch Monster. I thought Anne was speaking to me there. That is just weird. One researcher, so what's he come up with? Over the years, have been countless theories put forward in an attempt to explain the possible existence of a large, unknown beastie in Scotland's most voluminous loch. Sorry, I'm back, folks. These range from an extinct prehistoric reptile such as a plesiosaur, one of my favourite theories, to a species of giant eel. However, to date, there has never been a conclusive answer to what lurks in the loch's murky depths. Now, Henry Bauer, a retired professor of chemistry and science studies at Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, has come forward with another explanation. He argues that Nesses is a species of ancient sea turtle descended from a population that had become trapped in the loch when the water receded at the end of the last ice age. Have I done this story before, folks? I'm coming into the chat room. This feels too familiar. Yeah, see what people say. Let's see, your brain is your best weapon, nature is your best tool, but if you use them unwisely, you'll be made to look a fool. Oh, nice. I watched a film as a kid where it made out there were a prehistoric monster in a quarry, but turns out to be a massive digger. I like it, dude, I like it. Jimmy Jeans, all rise. His lordship, yes, he of the what can we call Jimmy? What we need something for him. He needs his own secret society, doesn't he? He of the many hats. Yes, oh, he of the many hats, Jimmy Jeans. So anyway, this 89-year-old researcher hasn't impressed me, and he's since been published in a respected scientific journal. Now, so hang on, right? The research, okay, let's see, let's stick with it. The most popular idea is that the Loch Ness Monster has a relationship to extinct plesiosaurs, he said. But this is difficult to square with the rarity of surface sightings, let alone occasional sightings on land. On the other hand, everything described for the Loch Ness Monster squares with a known many living and extinct species of turtles. They're air-breathing but spend long periods in deep water. They venture onto land and are very fast in water, and they have ability to be active in very cold water and have relatively long necks. Now, given how infrequent sea turtle sightings are in the Highlands, however, just how likely is it that a population of giant ones could have been surviving in Loch Ness without being discovered? Unless a specimen can be caught, we may never know for sure. And that last line there, that's what it all boils down to. Because, and you can't even see the last line, there it is there. That's what it all boils down to, folks. You know why? Because in the end of the day, get that fixed. There it is. In the end of the day, and if we've got no sample to go on, all of it's just speculation, conjecture, and nothing more than people talking. It's just ideas, it's theories. And although the eel gets well thrown out the window by me, it's as relevant as anything else. You know, at least that guy had eel DNA. At least he had something to back up his claim. Okay, it's ridiculous to say that having eel DNA in a place that contains eels means that the Loch Ness Monster's an eel. Not very scientific, I get that, and that's why it's bogus, right? But until we get some kind of sample, it's just going to be people like me, dingbats, sitting around the world talking about it. And it's good to talk about because it's that unknown. It's the void, the gap of information, the what ifs, what could be down there, what might be down there. And on that note, I need to go and get a little PPP, and we'll be back for the finale, and we'll get ready for Ben Emlyn Jones coming on to the show, folks. Step into the KBS Borg. I'm just waiting for people to call me out for being some kind of, transhumanist shill or something. We had one of our guests before left the show because I used an intro that looked highly demonic and satanic. It was just a bit of black goo. It was black goo, for goodness sake. You see what happens when you leave your minds open? Too much, you see? People see symbols everywhere. There we go. 60 people on a pre-show. Dang, you people love yourself a bit of the Loch Ness Monster. Listen, I'm going to be getting into more of the Loch Ness Monster with Ben Emlyn Jones after we finish here. Right after we finish here, because I'll be wrapping this up about 10 to 9. 10 to 10 even. I went back in time there, look at that. And then we'll wrap it up. We'll head on over to tfrlive.com. You can catch it on TalkStream Live as well. Or if you're in the Discord, you'll get to see us live on camera where we record it. We'll upload it later. But don't fear, if you don't want to do that, I'll be back later on if you're busy or whatever. 2 a.m. I'm going for. I'm aiming for 2 a.m. or just after in the UK, and it's going to be our second After Dark show. Yes, KBS After Dark. It's going to get creepy. It's going to get spooky. There's going to be woo. And by that time, you're going to be well ready for it because Ben Emlyn Jones is coming on. So we're going to take a little look at Ben's website here. He sent me this story through today that we're going to be taking a look at. I knew Ben would be wanting to get into this. I'm really looking forward to getting Ben's take on it. But remember, we were talking about the Pentagon admitting that they had the UFO debris. Well, maybe not. But we're going to be getting into that with Ben. We're also going to be talking about Mars. Yes. Our little friend on the Martian surface. It's my little friend. I am absolutely... Anne said this the other day. I was like, Anne, look at this. And then 2 minutes later, Anne, look at this, right? And she just burst out laughing. She's like, look at the state of you. I'm like, what are you on about? She's like, you're like a kid. You're like a child all excited about space. And I am. I'm well excited right now. This is like what it must have been like or similar to what it was like when the Apollo programs were getting up and running, you know? And then you compare that. You had the president at the time, you know, congratulating the astronauts, and the whole world were on the edge of their seat, right? And yet with everything going on in the past couple of years, this historic Mars mission, I mean, come on. I mean, it's had some good coverage, don't get me wrong, but it's the type of thing that any other time would have been massive, maybe huge. But we've got... Well, that's not a picture, obviously. But what's this here? And is this the one with the sounds? There's one with sounds, right? But it's pretty pointless playing it, and I'll show you why. If we go over here, right? Well, if I turn that right up. That's it. Did you hear that slight little rumble in there? Like... I'll put it back. It'll go again. So when it gets to here, right, turn up your speakers. I'll be really quiet. Turn them right up because it's like a percussion. It's like a... Right? Probably doesn't go anything like that, but... But what the hell's making that noise on Mars? Ready for this bit here. And you know what, folks? The technology on board this thing is mind-blowing. If you come over to the SoundCloud here. In fact, no, this is it here. This is no, that's not it. There was another one. I think what it might be. Right, this is it. See when you hear this? That's the sound of the rover. Like all the kind of stuff on the rover, all the mechanical stuff. That's the sound that you hear.
Houston,
Now, this here, this is the same sound file. The reason I said it's amazing, look at the audio cancellation technology that they've used. They've got filters that literally cuts out all of the background noise. I use something and Scott uses something called NVIDIA Broadcaster, and it does the same thing. It's like a virtual sound gate. It blocks out all the background noises, and it's machine learning. It's like AI that's doing all this crap. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Okay, now you get an impression of why Anne was saying Kev's a bit like a kid on Christmas morning. I'm all excited by this stuff. But some of the pictures we're getting, I was thinking it might make for a good stream one day, right? Because we're going to play, is it Life or is it Pareidolia? And I just came up with that name on the spot. Because I imagine if we go through all the 4K images and 8K images that are getting returned from Mars right now, and we start zooming them in, right? And we look at them long enough, we're all going to start to see things that may be there or may not be there. Because our mind makes these little patterns and we start to see faces and clouds and Jesus appears on your toast and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to say, is it Life? Or we're going to play, is it Life or is it Pareidolia? I'm looking forward to that. That's something we're going to do here on the stream. What else can we gab about for a minute before I go and get our main man, Mr. Emlyn Jones? Let me pull up the chat room. Why don't I want the chat? Oh no, Anne's in there talking about me. Oh no, no. You's in the both of yous. Oh no. This isn't good. This isn't good, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't good. Oh, by golly. What are they saying in the chat room? Oh, shh. Need to scroll up now. Kev, your sister is in chat. Also, don't do too much woo. It's my job. Jason, I'm going to be asking Ben tonight about Helen Duncan. I am. Not too much. Just enough to whet their appetite for your video you're doing on it. There you go. Karen, big shout out to you, Karen. I've seen you've messaged me, but I haven't been able to get over to it. Hope you and Mr. Gherkin are doing very, very well. We've got Anne Craney in there. What's her name then? Oh, Julie, there she is. Oh my God, 2 Cranies in the chat room. Folks, this is not a good thing. This is like, it's like a harbinger of the apocalypse. Honestly, I read it in some version of a Bible somewhere. And there will be 2 Cranies in a chat room. We're here. Oh, you don't want to do one more Craney and it would be all gone. It'd be disastrous. I'm all sitting laughing to themselves. I'll just sit here and entertain people and can sit and laugh in the background, you know. So, what else we got on here? The robot cat from Japan. That was a brilliant robot cat. Did anyone miss the robot cat? We'll go and take a look at the robot cat. You'll love this. Hang on, come over here. What was it called? Nikobo, wasn't it? Nikobo, the farting cat. Yeah, there it is. There we go. Hang on then. Need to get it to the bit where it does its fuffle. It's a cute little thing. Right, if I bring yous over here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you the world's first farting cat robot. Get up, you. Now, the question is, are we sure this is a tail? Listen. Aren't Japanese people really polite? When their bums fuffle, it doesn't go it goes pooey. Pooey. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? Yep. Yes, Julie, it gets a little crazy around here at times if you hadn't guessed already. Hey, Anne. Anne's getting lots of shoe emojis. That's what I like. Jason saves me taking the shoe. There's a sort of percussion before the wind. Lewis, my friend. Exactly, brother. Exactly. There's like this here. There's percussions in here. And in the end of the day, there shouldn't be any percussion coming from anywhere, right? It should just be like solar winds. No atmosphere or very little. So what's doing that? What's doing it? I'm telling you, man. Exciting stuff. Back to the chat room. I dread to think what Anne and Julie are saying about me. And if Anne and Julie tell you anything about me, I can tell you right now, there's a 99% chance it's a lie. All right, that's all I'm going to say. Julie's on a wrap. Good to see you in here, Julie. you want to get your name in green, Julie, you can become a member of the KBS VIP lounge. Just click the join button below. Jules, was it better when Mercury was in retrograde? Do you know what? If Anne and Julie had come in here when it was retrograde, that would have made sense. That would have made sense. It would have been a bit bizarre, a bit off the cuff. A cat with a cat. Yes, that's the farting cat. I'm not saying anything, just listening, says Julie. It's the best way. NASA released the Mars landing video today. Okay. Okie dokie. Give me 2 secs and I'll pull her up here. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Family discount? Hell no. Hell no, Julie. People will start talking. Okay. Find this and I'll go and get Ben. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh, come on.
Applicant indicates chute deployed.
Holy
The navigation
moly.
has confirmed that the parachute has deployed, and we are seeing significant deceleration in the velocity. Our current velocity is 440 meters per second at an altitude of about 12 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
Wow.
Heat shield set.
Perseverance has now slowed to subsonic speeds, and the heat shield has been separated. This allows both the radar and the cameras to get their first look at the surface. Current velocity is 145 meters per second at an altitude of about 9.5 kilometers above the surface.
That is pretty amazing though when you think about it. Isn't it? Isn't it? Wow. Let's see. Does it take us all the way to land? Let's jump forward a bit then.
Per second at about 2.6 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have confirmation that the back shell has separated. We are currently performing the divert maneuver. Current velocity is about 75 meters per second at an altitude
Be
of
awesome.
about a kilometer.
Be awesome if we just seen some kind of like some vehicle just driving along the surface below, right? No, I think it'd be
the surface
cool.
of Mars.
Here in safety Bravo.
We have completed our terrain relative navigation. Current speed is about 30 meters per second, altitude of about
Wow.
300 meters off the surface of Mars.
Oh
We
wow.
have started our constant velocity accordion, which means we are conducting the sky crane, about to conduct the sky crane maneuver.
Alright, so that's like kinda really cool.
Sky crane maneuver has started,
Holy crap.
about 20 meters off the surface.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Pretty cool stuff, eh? Pretty cool stuff. Go, go, Perseverance. Yes, try, and persevere again. So listen, I'm away now to go and get ready. I've got 14 minutes to get my game face on for the Kev Baker Show on Truth Frequency Radio. We'll be going out on tfrlive.com, TalkStream Live. Always end up getting that wrong. And of course, we'll be over in Discord with my good friend, the man that knows even more about woo than I do, Ben Emlyn Jones. Thank you all so much for being here today. Julie, thank you for being here. And having you and your sister here, despite the fact she sits in the background all the time, has made me really, really nervous. I had to kind of raise my game there. So on that note, folks, I am out of here. But remember, there's one last thing to say. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. And we will be back through the night with late night after hours woo.